There are moments in history when a person does not realize they are standing at the edge of something much larger than themselves. At the time, it does not feel like history. It feels like uncertainty, fear, responsibility. In 1775, I was not a symbol. I was not a statue. I was not the name people would later remember. I was simply a man who received a request that would change the course of my life. A request to lead an army that barely existed, against the most powerful empire in the world. And before I answered, I had to ask myself one question. Was I truly prepared to carry this burden? My name is George Washington, and this is how I became the commander of a revolution, before people called me a founder, before people painted my portrait, before my name became connected with a new nation. I was simply George Washington of Virginia. I had spent much of my life learning the responsibilities of leadership. I had served in the military. I had managed my estate. I had experienced both success and disappointment. But nothing in my previous life prepared me for what was coming. Because leading soldiers is one thing, leading a revolution is something entirely different. A soldier follows orders. A commander makes decisions. But a revolutionary leader must convince people to continue when victory is uncertain. And uncertainty surrounded us everywhere. The colonies were angry. They believed they were being treated unfairly by Britain. But anger alone does not win wars. Wars require supplies, training, discipline, and most importantly, people willing to sacrifice everything. I knew the risks, I knew the cost, and I knew that if this rebellion failed, many lives would be lost. Then came the moment I never expected. The Continental Congress asked me to become Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. I remember the weight of that decision. Many people assumed I accepted immediately. But the truth was, I understood exactly how difficult this would be. I was not being offered an easy victory. I was being asked to take responsibility for an uncertain future. I would be responsible for thousands of men, their families, their hopes, their lives. And I knew something that many people did not. The British Army was experienced. Their soldiers were trained. Their resources were enormous. Our army was different. Many of our men had never fought in a major battle. Many had never experienced the fear of standing across from an enemy line. I wondered, could this group of farmers and volunteers truly become an army? Could they stand against Britain? Could a new nation survive before it even existed? I did not have all the answers. But sometimes leadership is not about having certainty. Sometimes leadership is about accepting responsibility when nobody else can. When I arrived to take command, I saw the reality. And it was far more difficult than many people imagined. This was not a powerful army. There were shortages everywhere: food, clothing, weapons, training. Some soldiers had joined because they believed in the cause. Others simply wanted to defend their homes. But belief alone cannot stop bullets. Discipline must be created. Trust must be built. And every day I saw the challenges in front of me. I walked through camps filled with ordinary people who had been asked to do something extraordinary. They were not professional soldiers. They were fathers, sons, brothers, people who had left their normal lives behind. And I felt the weight of that responsibility. A commander does not only make plans on maps. A commander sends real people into danger. Every decision has a human cost. Every order has consequences. At night, when the camp became quiet, I often thought about that. Were we prepared? Was this the right path? Could I protect these men? Or was I asking them to sacrifice themselves for a dream that might never come true? The early days of the war tested us. The British were not easily defeated. They had experience, they had resources, they had confidence, and we learned a painful lesson. Wanting freedom does not guarantee victory. There were moments when everything seemed uncertain. The army suffered losses. People questioned our chances. Some wondered if continuing the fight was even possible. And I understood why they felt that way. Hope becomes difficult when reality keeps reminding you of your weaknesses. But a leader cannot only appear when things are going well. Leadership matters most when people begin to lose faith. My responsibility was not simply to win battles. It was to keep the cause alive, to convince people that defeat today did not mean defeat forever. Because revolutions are fragile. They can disappear long before the final battle is ever fought. By the end of 1776, the situation had become desperate. The army was exhausted. The future was uncertain. Many believed the revolution was close to failure. And perhaps they were right. But history often turns on moments when there appears to be no good option, when every choice carries risk, when waiting is dangerous, and acting is dangerous too. Soon I would have to make one of the greatest decisions of my life, a decision that would determine whether this revolution survived another year. A decision that would begin on a cold winter night, beside a frozen river. Looking back, people often ask when the revolution truly began. Some point to battles, some point to declarations, some point to great speeches. But history is not created by moments alone. It is created by people who decide what they are willing to sacrifice. At the beginning, I did not know how this story would end. I did not know whether we would win. I did not know whether future generations would remember my name. I only knew that a decision had been placed before me, and someone had to answer. I was George Washington, and this was the moment a revolution found its commander. But the hardest part was not accepting command. The hardest part was trying to keep an army alive when victory seemed impossible. And soon, I would face the decision that could end the revolution forever.